Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And let me join my colleagues in first and foremost congratulating the Honorable Hon Duale on his achievement as an appointee of the President to the position of Cabinet Secretary. Honorable Duale has had a checkered career as a legislator. And if there's one thing we all agree on, even those of us who are on the opposite side with him previously, Hon Duale was a man whom, when you gave a task, he gave his all to it. And many people would refer to him as a workaholic. He did his research well, and he was ever prepared on the floor of this House. No wonder when he appeared before us at the Committee on Appointments, he didn't disappoint. You know, amongst the nominees who came before us, he was one of the few whom I never gave much problems. But that is because of who he is. Mr. Speaker, there's also a record that Honorable Duale has set. You know, Honorable Duale came to this House a term before me. This is his fourth term, and I'm serving my third term. Honorable Duale was able to be elected for a record 4 times consecutively and on different parties. First time he came here, he came on the ODM ticket. The second time he came in 2013, he came under URP, if I remember. Then 2017, he came on the ticket of Jubilee Party. Now this time around, he came on the ticket of UDA. So that's a record that I don't think many of us will ever break. Okay? It goes a long way to demonstrate the fact that his people had confidence in him, regardless of the parties he ran on. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we wish to encourage Honorable Duale as he transits to the executive to continue with the spirit of engagement so that the difference between the executive and the legislature can continuously be narrowed for the good of the country and of our people. Thank you very much, and may God bless.
The Honorable Wangwe.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me also to congratulate my very good friend, Senior Honorable Hon Duale. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity Honorable Duale has gotten, and he deserves the opportunity, Honorable Speaker. I want to speak, Honorable Speaker, for the last Parliament, where I served as the last bit of the term as the whip. Honorable Duale gave me lots of information, Honorable Speaker, in terms of guidance, in terms of how to lead the House. Honorable Duale told me, Honorable Speaker, that the only instruments you need into this House are 2. 1, the Constitution of Kenya, and 2, the Standing Order Book. He actually taught me that with those 2 instruments, you'll be able to speak within and without fear or favor. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, as I stand here, I'm serving the 3rd term, and Honorable Duale, I owe you gratitude as you exit this House. You are such a wonderful colleague. I'll miss this House. But Honorable Speaker, Honorable Duale had only one major issue, which was very giving him total advantage, the mastering of the processes of this House. He would not allow you to speak when you're outside the processes and procedures of this House. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, for the leadership that is there today, let us guide others. Let us be those who can mentor the young colleagues who have joined this House so that we come up with stronger legislators in future. Honorable Speaker, by virtue of the mastering of the 2 instruments which Honorable Duale gave to me, you can only compare Honorable Duale to the late Martin Shikuku, Honorable Speaker. There is no way you would want to see, Honorable Duale would see you speak outside the 2. Finally, Honorable Speaker, in terms of guiding the leadership of the House, Honorable Duale, I wish to thank you that through you, you are able to show me how to assign colleagues without fear, without favor, and you made sure, Honorable Speaker, that Honorable Duale could guide in terms of placement of those colleagues in their various committees. As we, without really anticipating debate of the future placements, those will be coming forth, let us follow suit on how Honorable Duale led the rest. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I wish you well, Honorable Duale, as you go to the executive. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, allow me also to join the rest of the House in congratulating the Honorable Duale. This is not a mini feat. Honorable Duale, you deserved it and you've gotten it. The little we can say is just go well and extend the service you gave to this House to the executive. When we came in here as freshers in 2017, Honorable Duale was our leader of majority, and he made this House extremely interesting. It is important to reckon that he has trained Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, who has taken over per se from him, because the notes Honorable Duale prepared are the notes we want Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah to follow. Because in between, there was an interlude when we had our own difficulties and things were not moving well, but Honorable Duale, as a ranking member of this House, sat through with us. He never abandoned us. He actually encouraged us to soldier on and do what is right for the Republic of Kenya. It is as a result of this good work that God has rewarded him with this position of a cabinet minister and let him go well. Our regards to your colleagues when you reach there. When we met at the Committee of Appointments, you did it very well. Your colleagues, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, who slightly competed on the power of the gap with the Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, because he also did very well and spoke very well. My constituent, Honorable Kithure Kindiki, Professor, also did very well. Not to forget all the others. My schoolmate, the Honorable Simon Chelugui, also did very well. And all of them, congratulate them, tell them we wish them well, and we thank His Excellency the President for extending this magnanimous decision to you and to the others, so that you can serve us well, you can serve the Republic well, and we promise we will actually follow your footsteps in ensuring that this House remains as interesting as it was that time, because we have actually one of the best speakers, one of the best majority leader, and deputy speaker, and the others. We ourselves also speak for ourselves. It will be a good House. Let the freshers be actually excited about the House, because it will be good. Go well, sir. Thank you very much.
I'm very, very humbled to say thank you, and a big thank you to Honorable Aden Bare Duale for having given us the opportunity to serve with him. He was our senior. He served as our majority leader in the 12th Parliament. And that parliament was particularly very, very hot, especially when we debated on gender bill. I remember the famous Duale bill. I remember the tussles and the smiles and the fights in this House as we struggled to pass the bill. Even if we never achieved the milestone that we expected through Duale bill, I am very, very excited to register as a woman leader in this country and the current chair of KEWOPA, that we have had a positive milestone out of the serious debates and engagements that we had as we debated the famous Duale bill. Honorable Duale, we met with you in many quarters. We negotiated and haggled out the position and the placement of women in this House. You listened to us and you gave us your natural smile. We thank you. How I hope and pray that the Honorable Duale, when you go there to serve as our Cabinet Secretary in charge of Defense, we shall see so many women around you. 2-star general, 3-star general, and so on and so forth. We want to see many women serving in the Navy. We want to see many women serving in the Army. We want to see many in the field marching beautifully like they have always done. I am proud of you, Honorable Duale.
Our leader, the Honorable Hon Duale. Honorable Hon Duale, I want to thank you for working together when I was the majority whip in Senate, and you encouraged us on one thing, that you must be brave enough to stand for government. Even at times when things are not so good, you stand for your government. And for showing us faith. I remember you told us with the late Joyce Laboso and Ses Barire that when the Honorable William Ruto becomes president, you will resign as Member of Parliament. I salute you on that faith and in that wisdom. And we agreed anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I congratulate my friend Adan Duale, let me start with him. I want to just say that many people have not understood the relationship I've had with Duale. Almost all the time, apart from the time we came in as first-term MPs, we have been on opposite sides of the political divide. But our friendship has flourished, and many people have not understood this. But I want to just mention a few things. Number one, Duale and I, even though he is 6 years older than me, but politically we are age mates. We came in the same day in Parliament, and it did not take us 1 year before we became friends. And we have maintained our friendship up to this level. The only thing is that all the time when Duale's political star is rising, mine seems to be going down a bit. And anytime my political star is rising, his goes down. I remember in the 10th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, when he was assistant minister, I was a backbencher. When I became assistant minister, he became a backbencher. When Jubilee won elections in 2013, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Duale was made the majority leader. I remember that time, literally my documents were thrown out of my office, of the office of the assistant minister in the office of the prime minister. And now when the handshake came, I thought we were now going to work together, him as the majority leader and myself as the minority leader. Again, it did not take long before Duale's star started going down, and mine had risen. Now he's becoming a cabinet secretary when I thought I was going to be the cabinet secretary, and he was going to remain and stay in this house. Mr. Speaker, what a coincidence that now I've approved him as a cabinet secretary. Maybe tomorrow in 2027, I don't know, when I am likely to have a rising political star, maybe Duale, this time I want to pray for you, not really to remain where you are or even go higher. But Mr. Speaker, we have had a good working relationship. Duale has a work ethic that is admirable. And I want to say, Honorable Duale, that continue with your consultative nature of leadership. I worked with you as majority leader, worked with Kimunya as majority leader. You are better than Kimunya in terms of consultation. And that I can say without any fear or favor.
Honorable Duale, I think when he was leader of majority, he served with distinction, Mr. Speaker. And even when he was removed from being the leader of majority, he honorably handed over to Honorable Kimunya. He did not throw tantrums, he did not do anything. And that shows the show of greatness in him. As a leader, he was humble enough just to move back where he's seated now and handed over to Honorable Kimunya to sit in front. When in the 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Duale and Honorable Nyense and Honorable Midio, the late Midio, they distributed committees to members very fairly. Nobody complained, and all of us served at least in 1 or 2 committees, 2 or more committees. But in the 12th Parliament, it was disastrous because those the leadership of that time, Mr. Speaker, awarded themselves positions and denied us chances to serve in committees.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Adan Duale is a gentleman that can be described as the legislator par excellence, or the ultimate legislator. When I came to this parliament, Mr. Speaker, he used the same terms that he was giving us a little bit earlier to advise me. He pulled me aside and told me to be very careful with my constituents, and I did follow his advice very carefully. That's why I'm here for my second term. I remain forever grateful to him. As the patron of Pastoralist Parliamentary Group, we benefited a lot as pastoralists from his leadership. Mr. Speaker, sir, and now as Defense Cabinet Secretary, I want to urge Honorable Duale to think outside the box. Do not do things as have been done ever since independence. We have youth in this country, like those who come from my constituency, who are engaged in cat wrestling and other constituencies neighboring. I urge you, Honorable Duale, to think outside the box and think of creating a special regiment that will be our fighters to defend our borders instead of demonizing those Kenyans who have not been so lucky.
Honorable Duale, you are a mentor to some of us. You encouraged us. You have fought for us as women. I cannot forget an issue recently when we went through nominations of UDA and we won, all the members of parliament, Gilgil, Naivasha, and myself. And Mr. Speaker, we had a lot of challenge through the men we had defeated. Honorable Duale, I cannot forget the day you just encouraged us and you said, well, you cannot accept impunity against women.
And Honorable Speaker, Honorable Duale, when we joined the 12th Parliament, was one leader who easily mixed with us and would have breakfast with us in the morning, every morning, and would educate us and teach us about how to operate in this house and in politics. And Honorable Duale is somebody who raised the profile of this house. When Duale was the majority leader in this house, Parliament was respected. And members of the executive came here limping. They respected and they feared this house. And I think I want to thank him for that. And also for his dedication in the service. When I sat in the finance committee and we were going through finance bill, Duale would take time to come and discuss with us the details of the finance bill, despite the fact that he was not a member of that committee. I want to congratulate him for this feat, and I know that he's going to perform. Honorable Speaker, this country has the best investments in military hardware and software. Every year, we appropriate resources to hire and to recruit military personnel. But, Honorable Speaker, this country is also one of the most disrespected. I want to urge Duale that as you take up this position, please ensure that this country is respected. I think it is time Kenya went to war so that our neighbors can respect us. And I know Duale, as a bold leader, is going to ensure that this country is respected. We don't want to see Uganda still harassing our people in Migingo when Duale is the Minister for Defense.
I want particularly to congratulate Honorable Duale for being appointed as CS, and I want to say he has done a sterling job in this house. I still remember my lowest moment when we were at KICC and Honorable Duale was being removed. I remember sitting behind there and looking at former president and asking myself, does the president know who he is losing? The person who fights for government like it is his own property. Honorable Duale, I wish you the best in your new appointment.
And I want to start with Honorable Duale. You know, Honorable Duale, if he does not speak in this house, there is no house that day. That is the way I've known him. And I call him my neighbor. So my neighbor, when you go up there, remember us. You know the conflict we have down there. Please help us.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Niweze kumpongeza ndugu yangu kipenzi Mheshimiwa Honorable Duale. Pongezi sana. Manake ikija kwetu lazima tutasikia raha. Na nina imani kuwa mipaka yetu itakuwa salama kwa mikono yako. Nina imani kuwa wanajeshi wetu watasikia raha kwa mikono yako. Nina imani ulinzi utaimarika katika taifa hili. Nawashukuru sana na naombea dua. Ndugu yangu Duale, shika kazi, shika kasi. Nitabisha mlango wako hivi karibuni. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Let me start by congratulating my brother and friend Duale, Hon Duale, for his appointment. It is a big loss for our House. I never thought I would be the one to say farewell to him in the National Assembly. I know him as a consummate, passionate, intense politician. I kept on telling him that, in fact, for me, politics is just one part of my life. But for him, politics is in blood. It is in his blood. He sleeps politics. He wakes up politics. And I think, for sure, there has never been a better majority leader in this House than him. So it's quite a big loss. I wish him well in his new appointment. I also want to say that, in fact, he has played an important part in my own political life. In 2011, he was ahead of me several months. There was a by-election in Kamkunji. I wasn't really very keen in standing at that particular moment, and I got a call from my brother, Duale, and our current president, William Ruto. I went to see them at a Transnational Bank building, and they convinced me that I should stand in Kamkunji. And to a certain extent, I accepted that challenge, leaving my UN job to come and run in Kamkunji. So I want to thank him for his support and for his continuous support to me, and I want to wish him as the new Minister of Defense.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I also take this opportunity to congratulate my brother Hon Duale for having appointed to represent the nation as far as the security of this country and the KDF in general is concerned. I am aware that he is very able and he will represent the country at his capacity very well.
I next want to congratulate the Honorable Duale. Duale has been our role model for most of us, especially in the 12th Parliament. Actually, all I would say, Honorable Duale, you are the best majority leader I ever witnessed. And I hope Honorable Ishungwa will just take up the role, and I know is equal to the task.
Hon Duale, I want to say that you will be truly missed. You mentored me through my first term in Parliament. You opened your office for me to get notes from your secretary so that I could improve my contributions. You created a lot of humor with me coming with my thermos and my backpack. But all in all, you stood for forgiveness. I remember there's a time you and I had a bit of a tiff, and then you actually met me in court and you said, Esther, I ask you if I did something wrong, sorry. You have a lot of humility in you, and I really pray that God continues to favor you.
To the Honorable Duale, you are amazing. You might be remembered for the great speeches in this House. You might be remembered for the great book you are just about to release, The Room Where It Happened. We are looking forward to hear the secrets in the high rooms where things were happening. You might be remembered as the first leader, because even now they call you leader, even when you are a ranking member. But I personally will remember you for one piece of advice. You say to me, even at the toughest time, even with all my duties, I have made sure that in my time in Parliament, I always am home by the time when my children are doing homework. I took that up when I was a young member, and I made sure that regardless of whatever the politics is going to throw at me every day, I am at home to do homework with my children. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Duale, you have done your job. You have done a good work. I call you Majority Leader Emeritus because you are the first Majority Leader under the new Constitution, and you served us very, very well. And I'm sure the current Majority Leader will find actually your shoes too big, but I'm sure he will try. Honorable Duale, the people of Garissa have elected you 4 terms, and I'm sure they will miss you. But please ensure that you still continue serving them, as well as the entire Republic of Kenya. To the people of Garissa County, Garissa Township, please ensure that you bring somebody capable who can fit into the shoes of Hon Duale. As our patron of the past parliamentary group, I wish you well as you proceed to your new docket.
I want to congratulate the Honorable Hon Duale. You are an inspiration to many of us, young leaders. I've been in your constituency when I was serving in the Ministry of Devolution and Assaults, and I can be able to attest that indeed you've done great to your people of Garissa. Thank you so much. May God bless you as you build on what your successors have, what your predecessors have done, as you emerge the best leader.
I also wish to congratulate Honorable Hon Duale in his new role. Mr. Speaker, the Moranga County women are so proud for our beautiful, brilliant cabinet secretary. Asante.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to congratulate Honorable Hon Duale for the great leadership he has shown over the years. We started with Honorable Duale when we were members of URP, United Republican Party. That is almost 10 years ago. And he has mentored many, many people who are in this house, me one of them. And I say, Mheshimiwa Hon Duale, please, when you serve as the Minister of Defense, this country look forward to your leadership, to your the strategies that you are going to implement as far as security of this nation is, security and defense of this nation is concerned. And as a student of international relations, I know we are in a region where defense is seriously in need. We know we are in DRC, we can be in South Sudan and many other nations. We know we are getting some threat from the Republic of Uganda, and I know you're up to task as far as issues of defense are concerned.